Okay, so Kaiju No.8. We've
Such a good show.
we've been okay. Just for the sake of this, we're gonna say that I've actually recorded some of the Kaiju films with Jose and Brandon at this point, because that's gonna be like
totally.
how it all starts off.
It's fun because time is not linear, but now we're actually making it not linear, so that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Time's not linear. It's like a ball of fluff and shit. So we've been doing with Brandon and Jose. I've been doing some of the Kaiju reviews. We've been talking about Godzilla, King Kong, things like that. Well, we probably haven't gotten to King Kong yet. With Kaiju being such a prevalent thing, because with Brandon and Jose, I'm currently talking about Godzilla films. We're working our way through basically all of the films and some other select media because we want to. Oh, and then with Jose, I've been talking about the Power Rangers comics, which, as one might expect, there are Kaiju that fight the Power Rangers a lot.
Is that the one where don't the Power Rangers in one actually fight Godzilla?
Yeah, so there's two actually comic series
Okay.
where they fight Godzilla. We right now, Jose, to date from when this episode that we're recording right now is from, we have done the first story arc of Go-Go Power Rangers, which picks up like right after day one. They're just now getting their powers. And then we did the first story arc of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is right after Tommy gains control of his powers again. So,
Right. Okay.
So right now with Kaiju being on the brain, we're gonna talk about Kaiju No.8, which honestly I was very excited when they announced the anime because I actually read the manga up through like volume 8 at one point. And one of the things I always worry about when one of the series I read before I watch is if they do the justice with adapting it.
Especially because you can have so many of a manga. For instance, Tokyo Revengers, there's what, like over 20, I think? I think there's 21.
I don't know yet.
There's only 3 seasons of the show.
Right.
So it's one of those, like, trying to... So you either get that issue, or you get the issue that we have with, like, Bleach, where the show is waiting for the manga to come out, because they're coming out at the same time. So they make filler seasons that just blow. Bents? Is it Bents? I don't know. The vampire season of Bleach.
The Bounce.
Bounce.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and that's the same thing with... thankfully, Dragon Ball Z didn't catch up quite as quickly as Bleach did, but Dragon Ball Z had that same issue, and that's why there was so much filler in Dragon Ball Z. Now, with Kaiju No.8, from what I recall from the manga, I haven't done a whole lot of catching up on it. I feel like they do a really good job of...
22nd.
Yeah.
Thank you for pronouncing manga correctly.
Yeah, it's a manga. Look, man, I was...
I know. It's just, I know it's the America of it all, but like, it just gets so annoying. Everyone just like manga. It's like,
Manga.
it's an easy word. Just
Look,
pronounce it correctly.
I got beat up in middle school a lot because I read manga, so I know how it should be pronounced.
Oh, okay. See, that's what there's good stuff right there.
Exactly. So
nerds becoming adults.
Exactly. And with this particular anime, like I said, I was really worried that it wasn't going to do it justice, but I will say this. The opening scene for Kaiju No.8 is probably one of the greatest scenes to open an anime on I've ever had. Like,
it came in so hot, but which is funny because initially, like, it's just, come on, what are you doing? We just got people walking around. It's a show about kaiju,
right?
And you're like, I mean, seriously, is nothing happening? And then you're like, oh, everything is happening.
Right. They do what Legendary's Godzilla 2014 failed to do, and that was build immediate suspense. Because Legendary's Godzilla took forever. You saw 12 minutes of Godzilla in a 2-hour-long movie about Godzilla. This one, you got a kaiju. Like, with this one, you got a kaiju in the first like minute and a half of the film or of the show that gets blown the fuck up.
And I mean, does he? He just gets fucked up. I mean, I know we'll get into it later on, but I forget her name. Her weapons and her handling of them is insane.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what I think was hilarious is, so I was watching while I was working today. Gosh, I know I shouldn't do that, but it was during my lunch break.
That's my every single day. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It was during my lunch break. But when they were talking about Mina, her name's Mina.
Thank you.
Last name Ashiro. But because of the way the Japanese pronounce their R's, it sounded like he said, like the news reporter was saying Mina Ashido, which
Right.
when I heard that name, I paused and I was like, wait a second, because Mina Ashido is the pink girl from My Hero Academia.
Ooh, wait. Oh, the acid girl?
Yeah, Alien Queen.
Okay.
So I did a double take because I was like, man, those names are almost identical. Not the same name. So
It's just Jane Doe of Japan.
basically, yeah, it's every woman in Japan, the Whitney Houston of Japan.
I mean, you remember a few years ago when all the kids were named Hercules and all the girls were named Meg?
What?
From the Disney Hercules.
I don't remember when anybody was named Hercules. But to all you kids out there that were named Hercules that got shoved into lockers and had your lunch money stolen, yeah, it's your fault. So Mina, being this super badass like kaiju defense corps woman, blows up the fucking kaiju. Like bits of entrails are
one shot.
Yeah, bits of entrail are everywhere. She's got a whole team of people that are trying to do like help, but they're not doing shit.
Right?
They're literally.
What are they there for?
Because they look badass. Their suits are pretty fucking cool.
I mean, true.
And then we get the title card, just the plain like black and white block letter Kaiju No.8.
Which is classic.
I gotta be honest, I wish more anime series did or more just general did like the basic block letter title cards. Like one thing that it reminds me of is in the MCU during, I think it was Avengers Endgame, when they would just put on screen like in block letters, this is where they are, this is how long it's been. I thought that worked really well. A lot of people were like, "Oh, that felt silly." I was like, "No, that worked that did exactly what it needed to do. It communicated where."
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it communicated exactly what was happening, and I think that was beautifully done.
Yeah, it gets you right into it. It just doesn't waste your time. One issue I have with actually a good amount of anime is the theme songs. And it's not because I dislike the theme songs. It's not because usually they're in Japanese. Honestly, a lot of times they're still really fun.
Yeah.
The issue is, like, this is a good chunk of the episode, and you just showed me something like some good action to get me roped in, and you immediately slam on the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
This foregoes that, and I like that.
I will say, there are very few anime that I will sit through the intro for. This is one of the ones I will, because as dumb as it sounds, like the intro for this and the outro for that matter, I think they did a phenomenal job with who they chose to do the music. And
I was going to say the outro. It's the outro for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which One Republic.
Yeah, they did a great job with picking the band to play the intro and outro for this. And foregoing the intro, just jumping back into the action, which in a lot of ways the action that they jump into it seems mundane. Like it's jumping into Kefka and his crew cleaning up the remains of a kaiju, which
I mean, it's technically monster janitors.
Yeah, that's exactly
but
what it
still
is.
holds our attention.
And I mean, effectively, their damage control, from Marvel, they're Marvel, or the anime equivalent of damage control. And while on paper cleaning up kaiju bits doesn't sound like too bad of a job, like it's hard for people that haven't seen what this looks like up close to really understand how big kaiju are. They gave the measurements of how big this creature was very early on. I don't remember the exact measurements.
No clue.
How big was?
They're also probably in metric, which I don't. I
Right.
think it's like 3 meter or 3 feet to a meter, but that's still more math than I feel like doing while watching an anime.
Right. Let's see. So the first creature that shows up is this orange beast that gets blown up. Now, I think they said it was something like 200 meters or something like that. Which
I mean, he was as tall as some of the buildings.
yeah, and then
that
some.
track. Yeah.
So for just to have the number, 200 meters for us Americans is 656 feet. It's a big fucking thing. And they're like, yeah, you guys have till the end of the week to get this thing cleaned up. So hop to it. Which,
Right?
like, again, to
And
give...
it's one of those things that you just wouldn't think about. Like, oh, in the world of kaijus, of course this is a huge part of it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the nice thing that a lot of the, like, TV shows such as Power Rangers, and I'm sure this, I don't have as much knowledge of, like, Godzilla as some of the other stuff I know, but, like, in Power Rangers, all the monsters just blow up into fire.
Right.
There's no remains, and I feel like in Godzilla a lot of it happens like that too. But, like, these creatures are...
Bleach, they fade away to the Soul Society.
Right. With these creatures in this first episode, there is literal scaffolding built into the side of the kaiju so that they don't fall off of the kaiju to death.
Yeah.
Like,
You literally have to be a rock climber to do this job.
exactly. And in addition to just having to deal with a giant dead animal, you also have to deal with some of the unknown things that these dead animals do, i.e. have acid melt, like acid blood. Not,
Yeah, think Alien.
yeah, a little less, corrosive than the Alien films, but basically, yeah. And
Well, that means this one is. There might be one that's more corrosive than the Alien.
exactly,
films.
yeah, this particular kaiju, R.I.P. It probably didn't do nothing wrong in its mind. It just was wrong place at the wrong time.
You had to get back to work quick, so he's like, all right, I'll just run out and grab a bite to eat, and then a bunch of people fucked him up.
Yeah, I mean, he just wanted to grab like a cow or something and nom it and get. Although a cow probably wouldn't be enough to feed this thing. Let's be real here. But
We don't know.
we don't know for certain. But yeah, it's. I gotta be honest with you. I often wonder this about, especially with kaiju films, is like, that's a lot of meat on that thing.
Mhm.
Do you think
you're wondering if people eat it?
I would eat a slab of kaijushi?
So here's my theory. It is one of two things. This is a huge part of the diet of this world,
Right.
or the government's like, no one can eat it, so you find a lot of it on the black market.
For sure. Oh, absolutely, 100%. If there's a black market for kaiju meat, like, again, I'd be there. I'd be, because like, here's the thing: is this first kaiju that shows up? It's a reptilian, right? And
It's kind of froggish.
Honestly, and if you really break it down, most kaiju are reptilian or insect in nature.
I mean, that's frankly why when you referred to King Kong as a kaiju, it just threw me.
I'll loop back to that, but with this thing it's reptilian or at least amphibious in nature. This particular creature, and I've tried gator bites. I've tried rattlesnake. Like,
Oh, I love gator.
reptile meat is not bad. So like, you have this giant thing with, like, massive amounts of meat. Like, if they're not using this meat to feed the people of their world, there's legit no excuse for starvation to be a thing in this world.
Oh, not at all.
Like, you
Although,
literally...
that countries that are like, well, there's some countries that are withholding because they're just trying to make a profit. I mean, the capitalism.
For sure. Oh, of course, the capitalism aspect has to be a part of it. But
One of the things I love about this show is the very faint pixelization of the poop that we were just looking at.
oh, for sure, yeah, the pixel poops. Pixel poops are great because they got to keep some semblance of PG because there's blood everywhere. So,
Uh,
so as you were saying with this, with the poopies, every
oh, shit.
he called it shit poop. Every creature, for the most part, when they die, they evacuate their bowels, which means that you've got kaiju-sized shits that are part of this kaiju cleanup crew, and Kefka, being the main character, of course.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Kefka was actually sent to clean out the intestinal tract.
Yeah.
So I think he was actually walking through the colon. It wasn't even just like, hey, this is on the side of the road. I think he was literally going through the internal poop tract.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was inside of this guy, or at least
He was going
dealing
through some real dark tunnel.
or at least dealing with the intestines that had fallen out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I could get that behind that too. Yeah.
And because he's the main character, he's the one that has to do it. And it's a gross job. If what's that guy's job? The guy that does all the like gross or dirty jobs with Mike, whatever.
Oh, I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
I never cared enough to learn his name.
Yeah, it was Mike something, but he would be crawling through the shit with Kefka if he was in this universe.
A part of it also that they know that Kefka he's silly and he's a jokester, but he is reliable and he is while it's not the defense force, he's still proud of his job and proud to do it well.
He takes great pride in his work. He's willing to get dirty, and he's not going to shy away just because there's a little bit of poopy on the ground.
Nah.
And speaking of not being part of the defense force, it's kind of like his dream. It's always been his dream to be part of the defense force, but he's kind of, given up on that dream that he made a promise to a girl a long time ago that they would join the defense force together. Because,
100%.
It wouldn't be an anime without making a promise to a girl years ago when you were children.
Yeah, I've definitely watched too many anime in my life,
dude.
Too, and it's just in anime, so it's not when Jeff's just in real life or anything. So but the part that I like about that is that Kefka, he's not down about it. He's not upset. He's not wallowing in misery or a shitty person. He's like, you know what? Some dreams just aren't attainable, and while it sucks, hey, I'm still going to live my life as much as I can. I really liked his character even before the fun stuff we get. Let's be honest. If this was a show that had, it was just following the cleanup crew and, just the ridiculous shit that happens around them as they live in this kaiju world, it still would have been an amazing show.
Oh, for sure. I would still watch the hell out of it. And
100%.
I to your credit, he's not like, oh, my life sucks because I'm not doing that. The only time it really even acknowledges that he kind of has that regret is when he sees that childhood friend. Oh shit! Is when he sees that childhood friend on TV, and it's the super badass chick from the first scene blowing up the kaiju.
Which, I mean, in his defense, that's hot.
Yeah,
he's hot, and then she literally killed a kaiju in one shot. That's hot.
Yeah, that's it's impressive. She don't take no shit from nobody, and while yes, Kefka is okay, yeah, I'm cleaning up shit while she's
taking shit.
Yeah, I'm cleaning up the shit while she's having the cool job, but this is just as important of a job in this world. And he's not like you said, he's not upset by it. He's like, yeah, this is my role. I'm going to do the best I can with this role.
Absolutely.
And then we meet the fuck boy.
Random question: do you think so? You know how garbage men get paid crazy good money?
Yeah.
Do you think it's the same with these guys, with the cleanup crew?
I think they get paid pretty well. Yeah. I think they're making pretty solid bank with the cleanup task they're on.
Anyway.
I mean, because realistically, I wouldn't volunteer for a job like this unless I knew it was going to pay pretty decently,
Right. Well, also, like, I'm sure they have to get like government clearance and shit. This is also like sensitive materials.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think that they said later that those dope costumes and everything that they make, like, they use the research and everything from the dead kaiju to make them.
Well,
So.
yeah, and we'll burn that bridge when we get there. But like in the scene where he's just like chopping up the side of the kaiju, there's a government drone that comes up and he's like, "Hey, we need a sample for XYZ," and so like he's already like, we already see that there's some kind of like guidance from the government. I mean, if I had to stake a guess, I would say that these guys probably are government employees.
100%.
And then
like I would think like extensive background check level government employees.
Oh, for sure. And then once we get the new guy, the new young hot piece of meat working for the garbage crew, like he gives Kefka like a proper question of like, why'd you quit? Like why did you give up? And
that's also such an arrogant thing for such a young person to say. Someone you don't know.
Yes, I'll give you that, but at the same time I can kind of understand like the thought process, because like if it's a job that you're interested in doing and you have the opportunity to interact with somebody who's already tried out for that job before, it would be good to get some insight on why that job didn't work out for them.
Yeah, I just took it more of a, God, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever give up?
Well,
and it's like, dude, you don't know his life.
Yeah.
What if he got injured? What if he has a family? What if his mom got sick? Like, there's so many reasons.
What if he thinks the kaiju were too sexy?
And, well, I mean, let's be honest, it might be an issue moving forward.
We'll cross that when we get there.
Let's be honest, we both know that one's already been Rule 34.
Oh, my God. Dude,
43.
34. Dude, no, wait. Yeah, 34. But yes, people are disgusting. There probably is hentai that exists of these kaiju.
Oh yeah.
So back to my original point is, I don't think that asking like, "Hey, why did you give up?" is necessarily a bad question. It's the way that fuckboy, what's his name? I forgot. Reno Ichikawa. So Reno the bitch, shows up, and he's just like, he's very snobbish. Like he definitely has.
He seems to think that this place is beneath him.
Right? Yeah. He kind of has that vibe. And you know what? I will say, to his credit, he is also very hardworking. Like it's shown very quickly that he is also a hard worker.
That is true. But I'll tell you this: the first 2/3 at least of this episode, I fucking hated him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, he's a. I gotta be honest.
I'm supposed to.
Right. I feel like he came from money. I feel like Reno came from money, because like everyone else is eating, and for the most part they have like, you know, lunches that they've pulled out of grocery bags. Like,
I got a taco.
I think that's a chili cheese dog.
No matter.
But like all of the coworkers for the most part are just chilling, eating their lunch out of like grocery bags, gas station food. Remo shows up with like a bento box in like a tied handkerchief, which is like the typical thing to see in like those romance animes when you're trying to convince your partner that you're fucking worthwhile.
In the romancemes, I agree.
I love romancemes. Those, I gotta be honest with you. What?
I am not surprised.
It's me and Angel's guilty pleasure is watching one of the.
Such a dorky, hopeless romantic.
Hold up.
Except it turns out it's not hopeless.
I mean, look, man, I had given up on love. I found love again, and here we are.
I sure hope you give up again.
I hope you find love, Jeff. I do.
I'm gonna murder soon.
I will say with all of Reno's flaws here, he is, like I said, he's hardworking, and Kefka sees like, okay, this kid, like, yeah, he's a little bit of a punk, but he's like, he's not a bad guy, you know. So he does kind of provide some guidance, help him out, and, you know, Reno's even like, okay, look, I might have been wrong. I might have been being a dickbag.
I think it goes to show Kefka's got that pretty, let's be honest, it's a kind of a typical anime trope where it's like the main character's actual superpower is super friendship.
I mean, it's charisma, man. He's got hella charisma. and like, I get, like, I'm not saying he's risen up Reno over here, but he's like, he's got that energy about him that's like, okay, like, I want to hate this guy, but like, he's just such a genuinely likable character, you know?
Yeah. They did a very good job, right? They did really make some great characters. I'm very happy with what we've got so far.
Okay, I figured out, in my mind at least, the reason that Kefka is such a well-written character is because he is a real character. Like, he doesn't play out like the average anime protagonist. He's not like boisterous or over the top with his energy. Like even Reno, when he's talking to him about like, this is what we're doing, Reno is pretty like over the top boisterous with his mannerisms, but Kefka's just like, dude, fucking relax, man.
100%. And Kefka's obviously the hero and the main character, but they do a good job of, they don't fall into some of the tropes that we really get stuck in with a lot of anime main characters. I'll get into it more in some coming episodes.
Yeah.
But I think they were smart with it. They didn't just go the easy route with Kefka.
Oh no, like I love Dragon Ball Z. I love the story. I love the all of the mythology behind everything. But one thing that Goku is not my favorite character. Goku, for me, should have been like multiple times they tried to make Goku move on. They tried to hand the torch off to other characters. They tried with Vegeta, they tried with Gohan, and then they tried with Goten and Trunks in later parts of Dragon Ball Super. But because Goku is the character, they have to keep coming back to him. And I understand it.
No, I don't. It's they're placating their fan base, and the issue is, yeah, you'll keep like a base level like a common level of fans, but you're never gonna grow your fan base to great heights if you're not challenging it.
Well, I mean, I agree with you on it, like on a surface level with what you say, but there's a reason that, you know, after Akira Toriyama died, all of Central America shut down.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When I say they have a base level fandom, their base level a lot higher than most base levels.
Oh, for sure. So Kefka and Reno, kind of like Reno the bitch, they kind of have, you know, through working in literal shit together, and, you know, Kefka working and like helping Reno to get through the day, because like, it's a shit job. You got to have the right person with you to push through the shit job.
There's a reason working in restaurants, people bond so strongly.
Oh, for sure. Or when you're in, or like Coast Guard. When I was in the Coast Guard, people bonded because you have to. Like, you have to.
It's the only way to stay sane.
Exactly. And with this small rapport that they've built, Kefka's like, okay, man, you think you're big tough guy, right? Let's fucking throw hands. Let's do this. And then a oh god, not kaiju. What are the smaller ones called? A yoju.
Man, I'm smarter than you ever care.
Yeah, you are. A yoju shows, or while Kefka's like ready to throw hands with this guy, with the new guy, a yoju shows up. Yoju, for those that are not familiar with the series, are smaller kaiju, basically. They're like, while you have the like building size kaiju, these are more like the small cottage sized kaiju.
Yeah, you know, the babies.
The baby kaiju, yeah. And this fucking thing is ready to just
fuck shit up.
So this Honju shows up, and
No. Honju was the one that she one-shotted in the beginning. This is the Yoju.
Okay, so Honju is wow. Okay, there's more. I didn't realize all this. So
So a kaiju is any of them. Honju is building size. Yoju is cottage size.
okay, that's good to know. Thank you for that information. So this Yoju that shows up is ready to take a little chompy chomp out of Reno with an N, not an M. God damn it, with ready to take a chomp out of Reno, and
I just finished Final Fantasy VII too, so it's one of those. Every time you say it, I think of that guy.
yeah, that's in my mind. There's one thing I'm thinking of, and it's we've got from Infinite Fusions we have a Remoraid Hitmonchan fusion that I named Remo the Bitch. So this whole thing of me calling him Reno the Bitch or Remo the Bitch is it's a reference to that.
Recycled material.
God, I know I don't come with anything original anymore.
Anyway,
Kefka, being the good guy he is, just saves Reno. Like tackles Reno and he's like, dude, get the fuck out of town or go get help. I'll distract this thing. Which
they do it in a good way. Like it looks like Remo's literally about to die. I mean, it looks like he's in the jaws, and then Kefka comes out of nowhere. I really like that one. It's just a good way of building suspense, and yeah, it was a good shot. It was a fantastic animation.
Yeah, and Kefka reacts in the moment. He finds the moment, jumps in, saves Remo, and sends him off. And then again, this is a house-sized monster that is chasing after him, and Kefka's like, "All right, let's do this. You and me, let's go." And
but he also, while running away, is yelling instructions at Remo.
Yeah,
he's still very much aware of his surroundings and what needs to get done. And he's aware that he's not the hero; he's the distraction.
Right. Which, again, I have so much respect for Kefka because he knows what his role is and he doesn't let it like bother him.
No, not at all.
Plus, also this
honestly, this is kind of where he's like the most alive so far.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. And I gotta be honest, the design for this Yoju is fucked. Like, I don't like spiders, man. Yeah. I don't like spiders, but this is like a spider with an old man face. And
I'm wondering if this one is like a Japanese myth, because we saw something similar in Demon Slayer.
Like a yokai?
Kind of. Just yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking.
I mean, if I'm just shooting out in the dark here, but I think that a yokai or a yoju might be based off of actual yokai.
I mean, it sure looks like it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, yoju don't all look like this guy.
For sure. No. Well, a yokai in general, I think it was Japanese for like spirit. So like, there's a lot of different yokai that you have, but was that thunder? Mm-hmm. Oh shit, we got a storm blowing. Well, that got flagged. We're getting shut down.
Another great animation right here.
Jumping through the window.
That might be my favorite animation in the entire episode.
Oh, for sure. When he
just
jumps,
like how, but not just the jumping through the window. Whenever they do that with animation, where it's like the camera's basically moving, when they what's the term I'm looking for here?
Well,
a better form of imitation.
Well, yeah, it plays like it's an actual camera. It emulates exactly. Real life. I also with the flashback that we have immediately after the window, I like the parallel that they have with the scratch that he gets on his cheek. Because he had the same exact cut on his cheek as a child, and that's what triggered his decision to be like, I'm going to try and go into the Defense Corps. As a child, he said that same exact thing with that same exact cut on his cheek, and then after experiencing this Yoju attack, he kind of gets that same rush, and he's like, okay, let's do this. Also, can we talk about this guy's eyebrows for a sec?
I mean, come on. I just do not understand some of the choices in anime characters' designs.
Like, I will say this: it works when he's an adult. It works well. The eyebrows work well when he's as an adult. But it's when he's a small little boy, little baby child, that it's like, okay, this doesn't work as well.
It's a Matan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I will say, I don't think it would have worked as well if he wasn't happy all the time. It would just make him look like he's always pissed off at the world.
Well, yeah, he's got. Well, that's a very common trope I've seen in a lot of anime as well. Now is that you've got that main character who on outward appearances looks like he's angry at the world, but in reality he's just got a face like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
another great point. He's getting beat the fuck up.
And we have that another parallel where Reno was in the demon's face, and then Kefka was in the demon's face and saved at the last moment by Reno. And I
also love that he ended up going with the stop sign battle axe.
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, if you're living in a post-apocalyptic world, you got to make do with what you've got, right? And he has a fucking stop sign to use as a battle axe.
Mm-hmm.
And Reno at this point is like, hey man, look, I get why you're not trying out for things, but like you really should. Like you've got
part of him I like.
Yeah, you've got what's necessary. You've got spirit, you've got the energy that the defense corps needs. Yeah, you've got spirit, and I do too. And again, as with the beginning of the episode, we get another fucking awesome scene of watching a giant monster getting exploded.
That's my favorite part.
Just
Remo just staring there blank faced while blood explodes over him, because the thing is, that's so real. That's 100% what my face would have been like if I were in that situation. And I think that's what most people would have been like.
Well, not only that, but this is Reno's first time being up close and personal with a dead kaiju, like with a kaiju that got killed. Like the big dead one was already dead. It had already been like partially torn apart.
It was decaying by the time he got.
Exactly. This one was fresh alive and about to kill him and his buddy when he watched its brain matter splatter his cloak.
Yeah.
So
also, thank God they were wearing their work clothes.
Thank God. And the really nice thing is all of this can be like he can get workman's comp for it.
By the way, that was another part. The guy who got burned earlier, when he just goes, "Don't forget to file for workman's comp."
Yeah, like I mean,
again, they made it so real.
It plays off very well. It's subtle. Like they don't spend a whole lot of time like focusing on like the worker aspect of everything, but they do a good job at poking fun of the fact that they're just blue collar workers,
Exactly, and again, it's just normal mundane things like that in a show like this make the show more real.
Absolutely. And in the episode wraps up with Kefka in the hospital. Kefka's been pretty brutally torn up. He's like,
that leg's in trash.
Yeah, like he's bandaged the shit up, and Reno's being all kind of like cutesy anime boy, like, hey man, you were really cool out there today, and I think you'd be really good I mean, if you're looking to get your penis sucked, I'll do it, but only if you're into it. And then he touches his two pointer fingers together. Gets cold and lonely in the hospital bed at night,
Oh, we're such idiots.
And while they're like talking about the plans for the future, another kaiju just kind of shows up. But this one, unlike the other ones that we've dealt with, is like tiny. This is a little.
This is smaller than a Yoju tiny.
Like this is a fits in your mouth tiny kaiju, because that's what it does. It jumps down Kefka's throat, and then we see a lot of like demons and shit. I don't fully understand what this part is about, and that's okay because it's not meant to be like fully known right off the bat. And Remo literally pulls back the curtain, and there is a human-sized kaiju. And I gotta be honest, like, this is probably the worst face he could wake up with.
100%. But then again, just goes like it's such a badass scene, and they go straight to such perfectly timed comedy.
Oh yeah.
He's calling the cops on
Oh,
you.
dude, we should probably. Oh, this is bad. How awkward. Again, there was a lot that happened in this episode. Like,
a lot of shows where we get the first off, I feel it's important to again point out I love this clip. But a lot of shows where we have that opening episode, and it's just very much like, hey, we just got to build. Like, I get it, but I still want something.
right.
And this one did a very good job of not going like, hey, here's what the entire show's going to be. This one did a really good job of still showing us like, hey, let's have a little bit of fun. It's obviously still an introductory episode, but like, we'll entertain you during it.
Right. And like, while yes, there was some intense moments, like it didn't play off play out like it was a super serious anime.
No,
like it's an anime that's like, okay, we are fully aware that this is like all a big joke, right? Like,
yeah,
let's be real. They're talking about like filing taxes and shit. And the episode, like the end of the episode is our sexy, beautiful lady who's got a pet tiger for inexplicable reasons.
I thought you were talking about the tiger.
Well, no, that Brandon's the one that's into tigers, remember, especially the white tigers.
Oof. I mean, he really needs to examine that in himself.
But I think I genuinely believe that, like, the way they build everything up in this episode is perfectly paced.
Yes.
Like, that is one thing that
is the only way to describe it. Perfect.
There are so many animes out there that their pacing is off. Like, whether they're going too fast, whether they're going too slow, it doesn't hold, like, the time frame just doesn't feel right. This one, it jumped right into the action, then it jumped right into the comedy aspect of the whole thing, because at the end of the day, yes, this is an action-oriented anime, but it also is a comedy-oriented anime.
100%.
And I feel like taking those somber moments where, you know, Kefka has his reflection on life and where he wanted to be, and paralleling them with him turning into a giant skull-faced monster that you know, has overwhelming strength, is just great, especially when it's, you know, his childhood best friend that is the one hunting him down.
Right? It's exactly what you want. It hits all of the aspects of anime you love without being... It hits the tropes without being cliche, which is so hard to do.
It is very hard. This anime did, like, for this particular, like, genre of anime, is, like, in the same vein as what the Columbia TriStar Godzilla movie was for Godzilla films. It was enough of a familiarity for it to work out, like, drawing the average viewer, but there is, like, it's such a niche thing that it's not one that everybody's going to latch onto and it's going to become this overblown phenomenon, you know?
I see what you're trying to say. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it hits the points you want, but it's still a story all its own.
Right.
And it's just, yeah, you could give 100 people this story to write, and at least 70 of them would just go the simple route that you'd expect, and you'd still enjoy it, but it wouldn't be the sensation that I feel Kaiju No.8 is.
Right. It avoids a lot of the cliche. I mean, it's got some of the cliches. It's anime. It's going to have some cliches, but for the most part, like, it's a very original idea.
Yeah.
Like
oh, very much.
I mean, it definitely takes the whole Jekyll and Hyde aspect that we see in, like, the Incredible Hulk and things like that, but I mean now that I'm saying this, it's the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk, you could also say it's kind of Attack on Titan-ish.
Yeah.
Except instead of being horror, this one's comedy
Exactly.
and action.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part of it. You get this. This is usually a very tragic story when you can't control. You have this immense power, but you're shunned by society, and you can't really control it.
Right.
In this one, it's but let's have fun with it.
Right,
and that's the part that I really need.
And while we haven't gotten too deep into the series just yet, because like we just haven't. Like just right off the bat, it's the old man sees him, and they freak out, they panic, and it's not like panic like the serious like Death Note panic where you're standing there and it's just everyone's so intense for 3 minutes straight and nothing happens. It's that cartoonish. It's the cartoonish, like over the top panic that is hilarious to see. Again, when you're a 7 foot tall like demon with the face of a skull.
Right? It's the anime equivalent of Looney Tunes.
Exactly.
At that moment.
And
that's what you want. That's fun.
Absolutely love it. And I am so very looking forward to continuing to go through the series with you, Jeff. I am.
I could not agree more. I'm so excited just to keep watching the series.
For sure.
This is one of those ones where I'll watch a new episode and then I'll just go back and rewatch the series so far.
Oh, yeah.
And it's worth it every time. And I got to say, one other point about this show that I really enjoy.
Go.
I like that it's a true simulcast. We get a lot of simulcasts where it's like, okay, you get, we'll release it everywhere, but it's only like,
the Japanese.
You don't get it in, you don't get it in an American dub for months to a year.
Right.
I like even like the bigger ones. Like right now, while we're recording this, we're in the final season of Demon Slayer and My Hero, and they're coming out. They're simulcast, but you got to wait 2-3 weeks for the American dub. Which, hey, if you like I like dubs. There's nothing wrong with that. If you prefer subs, that's great for you. But it's just one of those like it's nice to have the options.
For sure, I'm definitely more of the dub kind of guy too. Because like if I want to turn on an anime and just kind of zone out while I'm doing something else, I should be able to do that without having to look at the screen to see what the hell's going on.
Exact same reason why I like them.
Yeah.